Well, that was underwhelming. The most wonderful time of the year is upon us. New watch releases from most of the world's top brands have launched at Watches and Wonders in Geneva, with all eyes on Rolex. The topic of this video was always planned. Let's discuss the secondary market impact of those new Rolex releases and of the discontinuations. But I've got to be honest, this video is going to be considerably less interesting than I expected. The new releases have been boring and predictable, and discontinuations, on the other hand, are not likely to send shockwaves. I, like many, was hoping, praying for some drama, yearning for a new release that would set the grey market alight, kickstart stagnating sales, and bring some much needed injection of energy. But regardless, you're here, I'm here, so let's do this anyway. Happy Watches and Wonders, everybody. If you're new here, I'm Vinny, welcome. So how would I describe the new releases from Rolex this year? Now, if you're in the UK like me, we have a saying. I think we would describe this as somewhat of a Friday afternoon job. Oh la la. It seems we have an email from the marketing department. Apparently, we need to create a list of new watches ready for the event next week. Sacre bleu, Francois. How long have we got? The best part of 15 minutes? Well, we best crack on then. Is there any watches we haven't yet put on a Jubilee? An Oyster, perhaps? We could do maybe the Skydweller on a Jubilee, a Skydweller on a solid rose gold Jubilee bracelet. Well, I'll just write down those ideas. What about the GMT line? Now, we've done some market research. We had a focus group, and apparently everybody wanted us to do the Coke bezel on the GMT line. Now, I don't know about you, I can't be bothered to design that. We've already made a brand new bezel on the GMT Master this year, so let's put that on a steel watch rather than a two-tone watch, the grey and black. The 1908. That's been performing particularly poorly. What can we do to reinvigorate that collection that nobody seems to want to buy? How about we make a dial using that traditional Swiss watchmaking technique that we've never really done before, I don't think. Yes, guilloche. We can make a guilloche dial. Perhaps we can make it out of solid platinum so we don't have to make too many of them. But I don't actually think we've got anybody capable of doing guilloche though, have we? What I'll do is I'll copy HR into the email and they can go and knock on Jerzy Lecout's door down the road and see if they can employ one of their artisans. That wouldn't be too much of a problem. We are Rolex, by the way, of course. We brought out that rose gold with the Fume black dial watch a couple of months ago for the Oscars. We could say that this is a brand new release, and we could actually include this in the Watches and Wonders releases. Nobody would notice, would they? We've done a black one. Perhaps we could do, I don't know, a blue one. Or how about, you know, this is being creative now, a green dial. Great ideas. I'm just struggling though because we need to do something a little bit different. We need a marquee watch of the year. We haven't done anything with the Deepsea line for too long. How about we do something with that? Perhaps give it a blue dial. Maybe we can fashion it in solid gold. I think that just about concludes the list. That's brilliant. It's 5 to 5. Pub? Pub. Let's kick this off then with that brand new GMT that has been released with the black and grey bezel. What is the secondary market impact going to be of that new release? This will be a £9,350 watch on the Oyster bracelet, and on the Jubilee £200 more. If we draw parallels to the Sprite release, that is the left-hand drive GMT Master 2 with the green and black bezel, this was a big hype watch. A lot of people wanted it, and the first ones hit the market at around £30,000. We were seeing them listed for. Now that was 2 years ago when the market was far more buoyant than it is now. I don't think this is a particularly exciting release. Obviously anything that has green on it where Rolex is concerned always does better, always attracts more attention and demand from consumers. I think the hype will actually probably die down quite quickly. So I would envisage the first ones of these watches hitting the market in around about 6 months time, probably at around £22,000. Beyond that, let's say the 12 months mark, I could see this watch falling down to around £15,000 on the Jubilee bracelet, which would be the more popular one over the Oyster bracelet, of course. But let's stick with the GMT Master 2 collection and cast a glance over the Pepsi. It is still here. The Pepsi lives on. It reigns supreme in the Rolex catalogue still in 2024. That speculation drove the hype, which drove the price up, and it meant that dealers could take, I suppose, more advantage and drive the price up as high as I actually saw the day before Watches and Wonders. I saw a brand new 2024 Jubilee bracelet Pepsi being advertised at £25,000. This was a watch which, 18 months ago you could pick up at around £15,000 to £16,000. Now that the discontinuation hasn't happened, of course, the biggest question I've been getting, what's going to happen to the Pepsi values now that the discontinuation hasn't happened? And we've seen this before, guys. We've seen it with the John Mayer. Every year there seemed to be a sort of rally leading up to March and April of Watches and Wonders and price. And then when it wasn't discontinued, the prices went down again. And then we saw the same thing happen again the following year in March and April. The 2018s, 19s, 20s, 21s, 22s, that's 5 years worth of Rolex Pepsi references. These were in as liquid supply as any other steel sports watch. Now 2023s and 2024s, that's a different story, because obviously that production, for whatever reason, we don't know why, we can only speculate, has been limited at authorized dealers. So we've got to really split the two. Those first 5 years, I expect those values now to plummet. Will probably fall for a Jubilee to around £15,000 to £16,000 on the secondary market. For the newer 2023, 2024 references, of course, these are in far shorter supplies, so I would predict that yes, these will fall in value, but probably to around £17,000 to £18,000. We'll see a correction to that margin over the next couple of weeks. Let's talk about my favorite of all of the new releases. It is the 1908. Rolex have once again forayed into the unknown with a very beautiful dress watch, which incorporates the traditional watchmaking artisanal craft of guilloche. Now, if you're not familiar, the creation of a guilloche dial involves an intricate process of engraving, often done with a machine known as a rose engine. The practice dates back to the 18th century and was popularized by brands looking to add a distinctive, ornate touch to their watches. Price on this, I was quite shocked to see that this only retails at £26,600. Out in the wild, out at authorized dealers, it'll be really difficult to get. The retail price is £26,600. I would predict that this watch will probably hit the secondary market scene at around £90,000. Beyond that, let's say the longer term, 12 months to 2 years, I would envisage that price settling to around about double the retail. The most unexpected release of the year, it is that brand new Deepsea with blue dial in solid yellow gold. My God, this is going to be a heavy watch. I predict this probably will weigh around 300 grams on the wrist. It's a 44mm case size as well. That case size at 44mm will hugely restrict demand for this and make it a very niche product, as the Deepsea collection is anyway. This, guys, comes in at a very princely £45,700, which I nearly fell off my chair when I saw that price. You can pick up a brand new solid gold 18 karat rose or yellow gold day date with more functionality at retail for just £33,500 in the 40mm size. And that's why I think when this initially hits the market, it will of course be a premium above the retail, but I think that watch will plummet as quickly as it would if you threw it into the sea, given how heavy it is. They'll probably hit the scene at around £55,000, but 12 months after that, guys, I could see this trading below the retail. Let's take a look at the new day date watches, or rather I would correct that by saying let's take a look at the day dates with some new dial colors. Fume dials, we've seen them before. Not a lot of people are actually saying this in the review videos. It almost seems to be some amazing revelation, a novelty that we have a fume dial. Back in the 80s and 90s we saw 36mm day dates with fume dials. The fume green is probably, I think, going to be the biggest seller and the biggest hype watch of the year. We also see a black fume dial big deal. But as I say, the green PLUMMET dial is probably the biggest hitter for grey market impact and will likely perform, I think, around about the same as the green lacquer dial. So if we look at those values historically, the retail for that watch is 33,300 and the green lacquer dial is currently achieving £40,000 for a brand new unworn piece. When that first hit the secondary market, it was achieving prices of around £55,000. So I would expect around about the same here. Of course, when that was released, the market was more buoyant, so the value of this could be slightly less. And I actually predict 12 months on from now, this watch will probably reach parity on the secondary market in terms of value with that green lacquer dial version. Rolex also released the blue PLUMMET dial, crafted from platinum. This is an incredible dial, likely to be quite rare. As with all platinum watches, demand will be greater than supply, and therefore this will achieve a premium on the secondary market, certainly when they first hit the scene. But I think it will actually hold that premium for quite a while as well. These are going to be exceptionally rare. This is a £54,000 watch. I expect grey market dealers to pretty much name the price for them. It's very difficult to place a price on this because there just won't be that many of them and there won't be any competitiveness. I wouldn't be surprised to see asking prices for this around £90,000 to £100,000 when they first hit the scene. What's new in the Skydweller collection then? Well, for the first time in the entire Rolex catalogue, we see a solid 18 karat rose gold Jubilee bracelet. Yes, they've given us a new bracelet. But we now have a slate dial, which will be the more popular one, and also a white dial. But also, one thing that people have missed is that electric blue dial that was released at Watches and Wonders last year was initially only available on the Oyster bracelet. It is now available on the Jubilee bracelet as well. That is the one which probably will sit at the top and be the king of the Skydweller collection, and demand will be quite high for it. If we have a look on Chrono 24 for a brand new 2024 piece, putting this into context, at the moment the lowest price that can be found for a solid 18 karat rose gold Skydweller is with a chocolate dial, and that is only £38,000. The slate dial, I would envisage this first hitting the secondary market around about £50,000, and then, you know, this is just going to become really the same as everything else. In contrast, the blue dial Skydweller fitted to a Jubilee bracelet, these will hit the scene probably at around £65,000 on Chrono 24 places like that. They will eventually settle to a couple of £1,000s over the price of the Oyster bracelet. I suppose I've got to touch on these, the new Daytonas with mother of pearl dials. I think Rolex have realized that Daytona now is a piece that is worn by ladies. I see this as a niche product, certainly for men. Mother of pearl dial, diamond encrusted dials, diamond bezels, you know, those are ladies' pieces at the end of the day. They won't say it, of course. Niche products don't tend to command massive premiums on the secondary market. They'll initially hit the scene, I think, at a slight premium above the retail price, all Daytonas do, and then they'll hang around slightly above. So there's nothing really interesting here to discuss for this one. I think 12 months from now they will reach parity on the secondary market in terms of value with other Oyster Flex white gold Daytonas. The Daytona Le Mans, when I was talking about this watch just a week ago, this was actually asking prices on the secondary market, a watch which sat around £160,000. Now that it's got discontinued, there's going to be very few of them out there actually in the wild. It's had a very short production run, I think of 10 months. So we've actually got a Rolex here, which is one of the shortest production Rolexes in history. This is therefore highly collectible and explains why I'm actually seeing some of these now being advertised at £255,000. We now have a yellow gold Daytona Le Mans. Now I think this is going to be even more popular and command an even higher price in the secondary market than what the white gold did when it settled at around £160,000. This watch will probably hit the scene at over £200,000. What a lot of people, what nobody I've seen on YouTube has actually recognised is that this new yellow gold watch, which is off catalogue by the way, I double checked on that this time, this is also a specific commemoration Daytona which commemorates 100 years of Le Mans. Now we are still in that 100-year window. So it leads me to question, well, surely if this is a watch which commemorates 100 years of Le Mans, then this yellow gold Daytona Le Mans will get discontinued in June. So we will therefore have an even shorter production run on a Rolex of potentially just 2 months. What that would do to values of this watch, God knows. I mean, you could pretty much name your price on that. This is a Daytona which will absolutely go down in history. Anyway, guys, let me know what your thoughts are on this video. Go check out beatthewaitlist-watches.com, and I will see you guys only in a few days' time at Watches and Wonders. I will be there. Oh, and I forgot to mention in my notes, the Yachtmaster 2 has been discontinued. The ugly duckling, hooray! What will the secondary market impact of that be? Absolutely nothing whatsoever, because nobody is interested in it anyway. Thanks.